Last time we focused on activities section. Now we're moving into resource assignments. This is where things starts to directly affect your units, cost, and remaining work. If you're working with a resource loaded or cost loaded schedule, these settings can change how Primavera updates your data. And if not set properly, your updates can easily become inaccurate. In this video, we'll go through each setting and I'll share the same setup I personally use and the logic behind it. But before we dive into the settings, I want to review a simple concept of units and costs with you in P6. This concept is essential for us to understand the importance of the first setting. So I have here this activity, and if we go to Resources tab, you can see that this activity is resource loaded, and I have assigned a crew of Mason on this activity. On this tab, you'll notice I have a bunch of columns here. We have budgeted units, actual units, remaining units, and at completion units. And I also have their cost counterparts, which we'll go through in a bit. The budgeted units are the estimated amount of units that this resource is expected to use for the whole duration of this activity. Normally, the budgeted units is estimated during planning. In this case, for my Mason crew, I'm expecting a total of 500 hours for them to complete this activity. Now, when I start the activity, typically, I want to update my actuals. That's the total amount of hours that my crew spent so far for this activity. So for example, if I started this activity, and let's say my crew has already spent 50 hours of work on this activity, I put 50 hours on the actual units column. Now, when I update my actuals most of the time, I also want to have an updated estimate on how much work is remaining. Now, it could be linear, like if I spent 50, my remaining could be 450. But it is also possible to have a different estimate, for example, for 80. When we update these values, Primavera calculates what is called at completion units. It is a total amount of units once I'm completed with this activity, and it uses this formula, actual units plus remaining units. So basically, at completion units is a forecast, with my actual being 50 and my remaining being 480. It means that I am now predicting I'm going to be over my budget. Now, it is very important to know this concept because the first setting affects the behavior of how P6 does the calculations. The first setting on the resource assignments is called when updating actual units or cost, and it has two options. One is to add actual to remaining, while the other is subtract actual from at completion. Now, the way P6 termed these settings is a little bit confusing, especially for beginners, but it's quite simple if you understand the concept behind this. When I update my schedule, the question is, do I want to add actual to remaining or do I want to subtract actual from at completion? So let's find out what this means. Let's keep the first mode selected. What the first mode does is, if I start to progress the activity, it gives me full control on the actual values and the remaining values. All it does is add actual to the remaining to calculate the forecast or the at completion, hence the name of this mode. That's what happened earlier when we change the actual units and the remaining units. P6 add those two values to get at completion. It gives us control over what actual and remaining values to input. Now, P6 does the same calculation for cost. So let me show you what it looks like. Here, I have 50,000 budgeted cost. If I update my actual cost, let's say to 10,000, it just total my remaining and actual to give me the at completion cost. If I update my remaining costs, it still have the same formula. So it works the same way with units. Now, we're gonna check the other mode. It says subtract actual from at completion. When we use this option, there's a little bit difference on the formula. What happens is that when I update my activity, I still input my actuals. But instead of me inputting my remaining, P6 is actually going to calculate the remaining units for me. And it does that based on this formula. Remaining is equals to at completion, which is basically my budget, minus the actual. It takes my budget, what I plan to spend hours work, then it removes the actual hours spent. In this case, we are keeping the at completion fixed and then recalculate the remaining. And again, it does that on units and costs. So let me show you how this works. So I'm gonna select the second mode and let's go back to activities. Let's reset the actual to 0, the remaining to 500, and the completion will be also at 500. Now that the second option is selected, watch what will happen. Let's say my crew work for 60 hours. P6 keeps the at completion fixed based on my budget and recalculates the remaining units for me. So it subtracts 60 hours from my 500 to give me 440 remaining units. And that carries no matter what I put on the actual units. If I put 500, it will give us 0 remaining units. That's how it works. It allows P6 to recalculate the remaining and try to keep you on budget. While P6 recalculates the remaining units here, you can still input your own values manually. If I have 100 hours left, the at completion becomes 600. So the formula actual plus remaining equals to at completion still applies to this mode. Now, the question is, what setting should you use? From a planning and project management perspective, I personally prefer using add actual to remaining. This allows the at completion to reflect the true forecast based on the actual progress and the remaining work, which is critical for identifying the overruns or the savings early. In most cases, this is the more practical option, especially for internal control and forecasting, which planners and project managers deals with. The second option is typically used in environments where organization requires the at completion to remain fixed for reporting or control purposes. In short, option 1 shows you what will actually happen, while option 2 keeps everything aligned with the original plan. In this case, I'll select the first option since I'm using this for internal control. Let's now talk about the next setting. It's called recalculate actual units and cost when duration percent complete changes. Let me just show to you what it does. Let's use again the same activity. Now, to really demonstrate this setting, the percent complete type of this activity must be in duration. So we're going to check the general tab and see the percent complete type here. Let's select duration and then let me also reset the actual to 0 and the remaining again to 500. Now, when we start this activity, I can now input here my percentages. Let's say I'm at 40% complete. When this setting is turned on, it takes this percentage, the 40%, and use it to recalculate the actual units of the assigned resources. If we go back to the resource tab, you'll see that we have a budgeted units of 500. 40% of that is 200. That's why the actual units here is 200. If let's say we're already 60% done, it will reflect 300 units, which is 60% of the 500. Now, the question again is, will you use this setting? Probably not. You see, units don't always scale with duration. If you have a 10 days duration activity and 60% progress, that means the activity is already in its 6th day. But 6 days actual duration doesn't always mean you have accomplished 6 days worth of units. There are times that you might be less productive or sometimes more productive. And it also overrides any actual values you input on the resources. Let me show you that. Here I can input, let's say, 240. Inputting 240 here doesn't affect the duration percent complete in the status tab. But if you change the duration percent or even just retype this, let's retype 60%, it will overwrite what you have inputted on the actual units, which now becomes 300 again. So in most cases, I recommend that we don't use this for us to have a more control. So for this setting, let's leave it unchecked. Now, for the third setting, it's called update units when costs change on resource assignments. When this is enabled, any change in cost will automatically recalculate the units based on the resource's price per unit. Let's use the second activity for example. By default, the calculate cost from units option here is turned on. What this means is that when you change the units, the cost automatically updates based on this formula. Cost is equal to units times price per unit. In this example, the budgeted cost is 27,000, which comes from a price per unit of 90 per hour and a budgeted units of 300 hours. So any change I make to the units will automatically update the cost following that formula. However, if I change the cost directly, like adjusting the budgeted cost, you'll notice that this checkbox automatically turns off. When that happens, the relationship between units, price per units, and the cost is no longer linked. Now, any changes I make to units or cost will not affect each other anymore. So if I change this for example to 400, the cost will not change. Similarly, if I change the cost to 40,000, for example, the budgeted units will not adjust. Now, I can manually turn this checkbox on. And once I do, the cost is linked again and will update based on the unit and price per unit. But every time I change the cost, it gets unchecked again. So I still can calculate units from cost. This is where this settings comes in. If I activate the setting and turn this checkbox on, changing the cost will no longer deactivate it. With the link maintained, I can now recalculate the units based on cost. So for example, if I input here 54,000, the units or the budgeted units will adjust accordingly. And it still follows that formula. Cost is equals to price per unit times number of units. Personally, I prefer to keep this turned off because in most cases, units represent actual manpower or equipment. And this should not change automatically just because cost changes. Enabling this option can override your planned resources, which may lead to unrealistic values and loss of control over your schedule. So for better control and more reliable tracking, I recommend keeping this turned off. Now let's take a look at the last setting, link actual to date and actual this period units and cost. This is one of the less commonly discussed setting, but it's still useful to understand how it works. When this is enabled, P6 automatically keeps your total actuals and your this period actuals in sync. So let me show you how it works. I have this activity here. We can see the actual units here. So let's add the actual this period column. So let's right click and add that column. I'm going to look for this period and I'm going to select the units, not the cost. Let's select first the units and add this to our column. Let's put it here after the actual units call and click apply. Now, I want you to observe how this two works. Right now, the link is on. So let's start this activity. And if I change the this period to, let's say, 8 hours, the actual units to date changes. And if I update it, for example, to 12, the actual units changes to the same number. Similarly, if I change the actual to date to, let's say, 18 hours, this period will also update. When this setting is on and we update either of these values, Primavera automatically updates the other to keep them consistent. Now, if I turn this setting off, these values becomes independent. Let me show you what happens. For example, let's change the this period to 25 hours. You'll notice that the actual units remains the same. Similarly, if I change the actual units, for example, to 40 hours, actual this period units doesn't change. As you can see, they can easily become inconsistent if not managed carefully. In most cases, I recommend keeping this turned on, especially for regular project updates. You would only turn this off if you need full manual control such as correcting past records. And there you have it. Those are the 4 settings under the resource assignment section, along with my recommended setup. I hope this helped clarify how these things work and which ones you can use in your projects. If you found this helpful, feel free to leave a comment and consider subscribing to the channel. You can also check out my other videos on project planning, Primavera P6 tutorial, and Microsoft Office. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.